Hi everybody, this is Matt. It's the rapid fire version of the IC topic chat for the independent consulting topical interest group. We are joined today by Becky Garrow. She's taking on the rapid fire idea. As I was just sharing before I started the recording, we get all these random questions, and I said, well, let's do an entire session dedicated to just crazy random questions. And so Becky took that on. And so we're very much indebted to her for all the work that she put into this. So Becky, I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to let you be rapid fire. I'm going to be quiet and let you go. So take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. This is the rapid fire presentation. So quickly, who is this presentation geared for? The full-time independent consultant. If you're doing independent consulting on the side, you have a full-time job already. This is probably not geared towards you, but you are going to have some good tips throughout the presentation anyway. How fast are we going to go? We're going to go rapid fire, baby. We did a survey. We got 36 respondents. I said you could email me. I got almost 15 emails. The questions were all over the place. We're going really fast. If that doesn't work for you, that is okay, because most of these topics are actually covered in previous videos that Matt or some of your other fellow independent consultants have done in a beautiful, appropriately paced YouTube. Okay, that's not this one though. We're going rapid fire. Really important message too. None of this is professional advice. It is professional opinion. You need to talk to your CPA. You need to talk to your lawyer. Yes, find a CPA, find a lawyer. This is something that's going to be important for you as an independent consultant. But don't be screenshotting this and then saying, well, Becky and Matt told me to. No, this is just opinions. Okay. So people who actually filled out the survey kind of all over the board. We got some people who are just starting out in independent consulting, several people who've been independent consulting from over 10 years. We asked the younger folks, people younger in their career, let us know what questions you have about independent consulting. Our veteran independent consultants, we asked them, what advice do you have or what do you wish you would have known about independent consulting? Everything is in this presentation. So everything you wanted to know and weren't afraid to ask. If you didn't ask it, it's not covered here today. Do I need a PhD to be a good independent consultant? No. In fact, about half of the ICs in the AEA TIG do not have a PhD, but having a PhD is amazing. Good job to all our doctors out there. Should I remain a sole proprietor? Probably not. Should I incorporate or form an LLC? Yeah, probably. Why? Okay, separation, protection, deductions. You want to separate your business life from your personal life. When you are a sole proprietor, everything is mixed, right? You're doing that one tax form at the end of the year. You actually don't have a lot of protection. As your business starts to grow, you get more clients, you take on more risk. You really want to separate your personal aspects from your business aspects. You also qualify for more deductions if you incorporate as a business, right? So should you do an LLC, an S Corp, or a C Corp? There's a chat for that. Go see Matt's video. Talk to your CPA. This is a good question for them. The general rule of thumb is that once you start grossing about $100,000 a year, it might be time to transition from an LLC to an S Corp. You can also do things where you remain an LLC and are just taxed by an S Corp by the IRS. Talk to your CPA. Okay, should I get insurance? Yes, absolutely. Get insurance. So why? Some funders require it. This helps you protect your assets. It also shows clients and colleagues you are serious. You have a real business. You have taken on risk and you are protecting it, right? Many of you asked, what kind of insurance should I get? How much does it cost? Who do I go to? There's a chat for that. Go see Matt's videos on the IC topics for this. But in general, you want general liability insurance. This is something that most funders, especially state and local county health departments and state health departments, are going to ask for, right? General liability, there are a couple of agencies you can go to. We'll talk about that in the chat after this video ends. I pay about $350 a year for general liability insurance. Professional liability insurance. A few clients will ask for this. This is your errors and omissions insurance. A lot of people in this independent consulting TIG, you're writing reports, you're producing data. If you make an error in that report of that data, this insurance is going to cover you. Of course, we all hope nobody ever sues us, but it's good to have the insurance. This usually runs about $475 a year. Something else I want to mention too is umbrella insurance. This is a personal policy that you can get. It's just what it sounds. It is an umbrella. It goes above and beyond your general liability, your professional liability, your homeowner's insurance, your vehicle insurance, if you have those things. So it provides you extra coverage. As you continue to grow your business or increase your personal assets, you may want to consider getting umbrella insurance. It costs about $200 a year. Your spouse or domestic partner is also usually eligible to fall underneath that insurance policy too for no additional cost. Okay, when someone wants too much insurance, so we got a lot of questions about this, just ask, hey, you can reduce the insurance? Because a lot of the times for professional liability, there'll be, limits of an incident up to $1 million. They'll want a $3 million or a $5 million policy. Most of us are writing reports and doing data, right? This isn't a medical facility or something. So when someone wants too much insurance, what I've done is just ask, hey, can we reduce these insurance requirements from $3 million to $1 million? Oftentimes people will just, as a standard with their forms, ask for vehicle insurance. Most of us are working at home, maybe not using our cars to conduct activities. I just ask that the vehicle insurance be waived. Oftentimes they can do that. When someone wants too much insurance and they're like, no, we can't do that. These are standard forms. We need a $5 million in policy. And even though you'll be working at home in a different state and never using your car, we need that $1 million business insurance policy. I will say, it sounds like this project requires a level of risk that I, as a quote, woman owned small business owner, am not comfortable taking. Two things, friends. Number one, this is true. I'm a small business. I don't want a project that's going to require millions of dollars of risk and an insurance policy, right? But number two, this kind of checks the client. Every single time I have said this, except for one time, the client's like, oh, you know what? Actually, let me talk to someone. Okay, I think we can reduce that. If they don't, I realize I have saved myself the headache of working with a ridiculously bureaucratic agency or project. As a small business, I am not equipped to do that. As an independent consultant, I am not equipped to deal with an enormous amount of bureaucracy. That's for a company to deal with. So don't worry when someone asks you for too much insurance. Okay. RFPs or referrals, is it worth it to respond to RFPs for independent consultants? So far, I've done well landing gigs with networking, but not from submitting RFPs. This is the general rule of thumb. Small independent consultants are very referral based, especially if you're a company of one, right? So just think about that. Some of us have applied for RFPs. Be wary of those large national RFPs. You are going up against agencies with a cadre of employees that you may no longer be competitive for. And as Kurt always likes to say, a lot of the times with these RFPs, someone is just looking for a couple of losers to submit a bid so they can select the person that they want. So approach this with caution, do a cost benefit analysis. If you know the people, if you have some additional inside info, that can really help with this. How do people schedule their time? Time for professional development, business systems, etc. I would love to just look at different ways people structure their weeks and months. Let's bring in our national park system because only you can decide how you are going to structure your time, right? We all have different time priorities, but I would suggest that you ask yourself, when are you at your most productive? Try and schedule your days around that. When are you really feeling energetic and creative flow to be able to do that deep work? What are you doing with your life? What is important to you? For me, I have things that are important for me to accomplish personally. It's going to be different for you. So you can structure your time around those things too. Maybe it's important to you. I know Matt has talked before. He really loved to walk one of his children to school, right? He loved to go once a week and eat lunch with them. So that can be really important. And what opportunities does being an independent consultant give you? I didn't want to totally blow this question off. And again, it's Smokey the Bear. You're going to get 100 answers from each of us. But here's how I structure my time. I have literally created an Excel spreadsheet. I write down my schedule. So you can see that bottom part below. And then I backfill in the things I am going to accomplish each day. Small tip, I love a checkbox. There's nothing quite as gratifying as being able to check meeting done, check task accomplished, right? What are the things that I populate into this schedule? I schedule all of my meetings, any salsa classes, when I'm playing basketball, bike rides, book clubs, when I might going to need to do some shopping, when I'm going to take a nap, if I want to do CrossFit. But most importantly, after I've put in all of my professional and personal responsibilities or goals, I decide where am I going to do my deep work and my shallow work. If I have a day full of meetings, I need to be reasonable with myself. I'm not getting deep work done that day. That's a day for shallow work. What's deep work and shallow work? Deep work is your researching, your thoughtful content. It requires expertise, it requires deep thought, uninterrupted time. Shallow work is email. Maybe it's attending a webinar. Come on now. How many of y'all are like checking emails right now? Or if you're on YouTube, you are taking a walk, right? Pulling reports, social medias. You can do these things distracted, right? So think about in your days when it would be good to kind of knock out some of these shallow work tasks that you can do distracted or in little 15-minute increments. Try and block out large amounts of time to do your deep work. Go read this book. It's amazing. Tips for hiring, training, and managing employees and subcontractors. Ooh, awesome. There is a chat for that. In fact, Heidi and I just did this chat in September. So go watch that. But just a little summary of the chat. Consider subcontractors both long-term and for emergencies. One of my stories in that video was that I got COVID. I did not want to cancel my focus group. Luckily, I had a cadre of subcontractors I'd already been working with. We were ready to go. Get your documentation in order. You should have, if you need them, data confidentiality agreements, your contracting template in place. Be ready to go if you need a sub with clear language. Keep the work you enjoy doing and sub out the rest if you can. This can be personal or professional. So when we talk about subs, we think about professional subcontractors, people who maybe we hire to analyze qualitative or quantitative data. Think about things that you can outsource in your personal life if you want to free up more time to do things professionally, right? I think I said in this webinar that I actually have an administrative assistant because I am terrible at gift buying that helps me buy gifts for like my grandmother, right? So we can outsource things. She does all of my travel planning, really helpful to me. Hire the best. You ain't got time for the rest. You are a person of one or a small independent consulting. You are going to need to pay money for a good consultant. Find somebody on your level. You do not want to be supervising people. You want to be delegating a task to a person and trusting they will execute it with the same level of competency that you would. Okay. When is it advisable to collaborate on a project versus subcontract for support? Only you can make that decision. Look at your workflow, look at your money. We can't give advice on that. We can probably tell stories about that, but you're going to know. I left my previous position due to burnout. I am trying to build my work practice so that I have much better work-life balance, e.g., working 30 hours per week, time for naps, lunch breaks. When I read this, I was horrified. I was like, whoa, you weren't taking a lunch break before? Lunch is so important. How can I do this while still making a decent salary? How can I work smarter, not harder? You're going to get a million different answers to this. Here are some of the summaries from the advice we got from the veteran level independent consultants who responded to the survey. So, do excellent work. This is my number one piece of advice. Do excellent work. It's going to be easier for you to get repeat clients and to increase your rates, charge more money. You can charge more money. Look at the market, look at what you're able to charge. If you're doing excellent work, you can charge top dollar, right? Be selective in your projects. It is tempting to take on everything that comes your way, but then that is using up your time and resources that you could be used to deepen your relationships with the clients you already have and potentially getting referrals from them. Create a runway. Before you start consulting or during, independent consultants need to be more careful. You need a runway. You want to plan for a few months of maybe a slowdown in work. Watch Matt's core topic videos on budgeting, overhead, etc. when you're trying to figure out how to select your rates. Also, my personal advice, cut out all the BS. You want to work smarter, not harder? Get rid of every single unnecessary meeting that you have. Friends, very few projects really require that hour-long weekly check-in meeting. Cal Newport talks in his Deep Work versus Shallow Work, or maybe it's in his email book, about getting rid of meetings that are just reporting based, have results based meetings. When you are ready to present a result, a report, a data set, that's when it's a good time to have a meeting. So cut out all the BS. There are a lot of things I think that we learn working for larger evaluation or research and evaluation consulting firms that you do not that you no longer need to do. You've cut out a lot of the overhead that's required for working for a large organization. You don't need all those meetings. This might be a quote dumb question, but who should I make an appointment with to learn what I can and cannot deduct from taxes and financial planning advice as an independent consultant? I'm thinking an accountant or a financial planner, but not sure where to start. Friend, this is not a dumb question. This is a smart question. Thank you for submitting it. Find a CPA right now, an accountant or a tax professional. There are many independent consultants here who have referrals and recommendations. I know I do. Ask one of us. We can provide you with a referral. Also, TurboTax has an amazing self-employed option that includes a real person CPA who will answer your questions via phone or chat. This is incredibly cost effective. So go find a CPA, accountant, or tax professional. Few bonus thoughts on this. Do not use a financial planner that charges a percentage-based fee. Find someone that will charge you only for the time you are spent meeting. You're going to give this person a lot of your money. The data shows, we're all evaluators here, right? These people do not outperform the market. Do not use a percentage-based financial planner. And really, for things like deductions, we don't want to use a financial planner. We want that CPA or tax accountant who works with small businesses. Bonus opinion. Please, friends, do not classify your questions as dumb. And bonus, please do not apologize for asking questions. I got a couple of these too. I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask. I'm sorry, maybe that. No, especially to all the ladies out there, I'm going to challenge you for the rest of your life. Never apologize before asking a question again. Ask the question. We love to hear them. Reasonable amounts to pay for projects and like data analysis. Friend, I don't know. What are you doing? Couple of frequencies, a multinomial logistic regression. Go back to Mac's video, find out how to calculate your fees. This is going to change each time, but make sure that you're getting paid for your work and not volunteering, right? There's a chat for that. So go to Matt's chat, selecting your fees. How do other independent consultants manage the ups and downs of income flow? So this is really difficult. I actually want to direct you to several financial planning books that have been written on this topic about how to deal with varying income throughout the months. When you're not working at an organization, you may not be getting that same salary every 2 weeks. It makes it difficult to plan. Make sure you have a runway. Make sure when you're an independent consultant or self-employed, you need more emergency funds. So I think this rule of thumb is for a normal salaried employee, you want 3 to 6 months of emergency funds. You want more if you're an independent consultant, right? If you have dependents or people relying on you or a high amount of fixed costs, you're going to want even more. So you're going to want to structure this. I would also just plan for this to happen. Don't hope it'll never happen and just, send your prayer hands up or something. This can happen. So make sure you're prepared for it. How do you reduce expenses? Ask for recommendations and referrals. This happens in the IC threads online all the time. We've talked, I know a lot just recently this year about insurance costs, right? We're all kind of giving each other referrals on where to go for good insurance. People are constantly asking for CPAs. So ask your fellow independent consultants for recommendations and referrals for things that you're using that you want to reduce a cost with. Assess your expenses regularly. But the flip side of this, please do not be afraid to spend money. Get the pro versions of software you're using. I had an independent consultant I was meeting with a couple of weeks ago who said, can we make it a 40-minute meeting? I only have the free version of Zoom. Automatically, I went to bias, right? I was like, you're not serious. You're not paying the $150 a year for the professional version of Zoom. You're not serious as an independent consultant yet. Remember that your time equals money. So a lot of these free versions that you're using, if they have ads, if they're cumbersome, if you're spending a lot of time, I know I wasted a lot of time trying to create PDFs. And finally, I was like, I just need to spend the $125 to get that PDF software, right? So remember that your time equals money. Don't be afraid to cut your losses. This is something too. Do not let the sociological sunk cost theory bring you down. If you've been using something and it costs money, you're like, well, I already paid for it. I've already been using it. Get rid of it. If it's no longer serving you, it's better to cut it off now. Successful people understand when it's time to cut your losses. And just sort of basic advice, if you're using qualitative or quantitative analysis, RStudio and QDA Data Miner are free. They're great programs. Only you can decide what expenses are important for you to keep and what expenses are important for you to cut. How do I move away from hourly pricing to value-based pricing? There's a chat for that. Please go see Matt's videos, but just sort of the quick and dirty. Estimate the hours that it's going to take you to complete the project. Add a super generous buffer. I do 20%. Friends, at the end of the day, I know I will at least break even, if not make a profit. Put serious parameters into your contract when you are doing value-based or deliverable-based. For example, I always write in, client, you have up to 3 rounds of feedback on this final report. I will give you up to 10 hours of Zoom meetings. This helps your client value your time and the feedback too, right? Add an expedited services line item. I always add this. So I say, hey, if you ask me for something and you're asking for less than a 48-hour turnaround, or it's a task that will require weekend work, work after 5 p.m., or work over US federal holidays, I charge double. And you have to get my approval ahead of time for that. This helps clients stay on time with their project timelines. It also gives you an opportunity if you have a few days and you would like to take on some expedited work. So be serious with the parameters, but that's how you can move away from it. What does the transition from a subcontractor working on projects where others are the lead? How do I get my first client? How do you find the clients? How do you make the transition? How do you get subcontracting work? Only you can figure out how to do this. We all have stories. Everybody does it a little bit differently, but there's some advice later on in this chat. Look to your circle first. Look to the people who have nurtured you. Look to your colleagues. Look to this independent consulting. Keep doing amazing work, right? The clients are going to come to you if you keep doing your amazing work and you are diligent in taking care of your clients. But this is a really complicated question, not appropriate for a rapid fire. This is a slow burn question. How do you start out as an independent consultant without evaluation experience and without having worked in an evaluation firm? Friend, what are you talking about? Okay, personally, I would never hire a subcontract with an evaluation consultant who had zero evaluation experience. You need to get a job. You need to get a job with an evaluation firm, get some experience, get some mentorship, right? I know I'm sounding kind of like old school, but you got to put in a little of the work. This isn't Bitcoin, right? Like you need to go in, put a little bit of the work and kind of go figure out how to do this, gain some evaluation experience. Alternatively, you may want to apprentice somebody for free to learn from them. But really, you want to go a big thing we hear in the advice or in the transition that people talk about to making an independent consultant, they have a solid evaluation background. They struggled with the business side of things, right? You don't want to struggle with both. You want a solid foundation of evaluation skills and tools in your tool belt, also a network of people that you can get work from as you learn the business side. So I would recommend start out, let a company take care of the business side for you at first so that you can work on refining and having really good evaluation skills. How do I balance my workload and uncertainties around projects that may or may not come through? Friends, take care of the people who are paying you money first. These are your paying clients. You want a repeat client, you want a referral from them. These are easier than new clients. So you want to think about how much time you're willing to volunteer to kind of put on that RFP, to develop that evaluation plan, to do client development. Those are all important things, but make sure you're taking care of your paying clients first. Think of the risk versus the reward. A lot of balance questions here. I need to make money, but I know that there's a threshold of proposal and contract you can manage and rates you can charge. How do I find that balance? Where's our boy? Only you can decide what an appropriate balance looks like for you, right? Some of us are really only looking to work 20 or 30 hours a week. Some of us are like, I'm ready to hustle. I'm ready to go 40, 50 hours a week. Some of us have families. Some of us have extracurricular activities. Some of us have side bike business hustles. Really, only you can decide what the balance is. You need to understand how you're feeling, right? Okay. Side hustles, great transition. There's a chat for that. So please see Matt's chat about having a side hustle for income. A lot of people in this independent consulting group, they teach, they work at a university, they work at a university extension. I don't want to leave this unsaid. I'm not saying to go get married. I'm not saying a side hustle is to go like find a spouse or a domestic partner. A lot of people were able to take the independent consulting jump because they had a partner who could provide them stability, that consistent income, insurance benefits. Let us all give a round of applause to the independent consultants who went out completely on their own. You are amazing. You are brave. You are doing it. That is excellent. Okay. Think about something that you love to do, not your passion, but something that you're really good at. Are you good at organization? Are you good at data visualization? These can be things that you can do on the side. You could do bike tours. Did you all know that I have a bike tour business? That's my side hustle. Okay. Who might be available to me as a mentor? Ann Price. She has a ton of resources available to you to be a mentor. She is so generous with her time. She will link that in the chat or we'll talk about it after this call. Someone at AEA or in your industry who is willing to volunteer their very precious time to give you advice or meet with you. When these people do volunteer their time, be cool about it. Buy them coffee or lunch or breakfast or a beer. I did this one time. I wanted to do sort of an informational interview with somebody I really admired who had another small research and evaluation public health consulting business. So ahead of our Zoom meeting, I sent them like a little bit of ground coffee, right? So they could like make their own coffee and we could literally have a coffee chat meeting. She thanked me and she said, I'm going to remember this. This is the first time someone who's done that for me. That like $5 shipping charge and $10 coffee, they have sent me so many referrals over the years. So be cool about the people that you're asking for free work from. Think about your current and potential clients. These are great people who can serve as mentors to you. Think about someone in your specific industry network. My industry is public health, so I'm always looking for other people in public health that I admire. It's going to differ for all of us. Okay, how do you set up a payment system? Just go use QuickBooks, Wave Apps is free, or just hire somebody. Go do that right now. One of these things. Where do you find RFPs or other places to apply for projects? Okay, the internet, a lot of stuff on there. This is a little bit hard to answer because we're all in different industries, right? Matt is in the educational realm. I'm in the public health realm. We're going to be looking different places for projects and RFPs. Join some listservs and distribution lists. A lot of foundations, nonprofits, people who hire consultants will put things out in their newsletter. Talk to your network. It's a good idea to be active on LinkedIn for people to see what you're doing, but ask people, hey, anything coming up? Do you have any referrals for me? Okay. What are some successful business practices to increase my number of clients? How do I get subcontracts? Do excellent work. Do not do shoddy work. Do not do cheap work. Do excellent work. This is the best number one way to get repeat clients, to get referrals, and to be eligible for people to want to work with you for subcontracts. Stay atop of people's minds. How do you advertise your services without advertising your services? I still struggle with advertising my services without coming off like a cringy salesperson. I used to be a cringy salesperson. I used to work at Big Five. I used to work at a furniture company. So I like being a cringy salesperson, but this can be very uncomfortable for many people. So LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You are not looking for clients here. The normal small independent consultant isn't. You are letting your network know what you're doing. When you get a new contract, post about it. Talk about the work you're doing. You're presenting at AEA, put that on LinkedIn. Keep atop of people's minds. Oddly enough, I get a ton of work referrals from my business Facebook page. It's not because people are Googling, where can I find an amazing public health researcher in Sacramento, California? It is because I have been working in this industry so long. A lot of my friends and colleagues are on Facebook and they see the repostings that I'm doing of my works. You're staying atop of people's mind. You're staying in people's minds. That's what you want to do. Let people know what you're doing directly. It is okay to send an email, to have a copy and say, hey, Matt, these are the projects I'm kind of working on right now. If you ever have a need, if you ever have a referral, let me know. This is the work I like to do. So there's the indirect and the direct. And then again, I really want to emphasize this. Take care of your current clients. Do amazing work for them. Referrals and repeat customers are gold. That costs you zero time, right? Way easier than marketing or kind of responding to RFPs. Emphasizing. Having a great client come back to you is easier than finding a new client. Okay, various pricing strategies, pros and cons. So we really talk about the hourly versus deliverable based. Hourly is good for projects that can get out of control where you need to cut costs. So anytime I do website updates, I always go hourly, right? These can really get out of control. It's really hard to do a deliverable based web update because a lot of my clients want like 10,000 revisions afterwards. Your deliverable based is something that you are good at, that you are fast at, that you can just charge a set rate for. So this is a little bit of the Smokey the Bear again, too. Really only you can decide. For a lot of long-term projects, it is easier for you invoicing wide to have deliverable based projects. I personally have a great mix of both. I have a few projects where I like hourly because one of my niche markets, I would say, is doing things fast. Can you tell by the pace of my tone of voice during this presentation that I like to move really fast? So I can turn things around really quickly for clients. So I keep hours open in my week if they need some expedited services. How do I say no? Like this, no. Okay, but we don't want to do that professionally because then you're going to be like me and you're going to be really off-putting to people. So use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is amazing. They can help you craft a really polite response to say no. Do not provide an excuse when you are saying no. It's really irritating to get an excuse for the receiver. Don't say you're too busy. That is the ultimate. Oh, sorry, I'm just way too busy. I can't take any. Will they be calling you again? No, they will not. Here is some language that I have used that, yes, ChatGPT helped me massage a little bit. This sounds like a great project. I won't be able to take it on at this time, but I really appreciate you thinking of me. Please keep me in mind for future opportunities. Exclamation point. So when you are saying no, always be gracious and thank them for thinking of you. Is there a way to access recordings of the IC topic checks? Yes, go to this website. Rapid fire advice. So this is from your friendly independent consultants. Advice from the pros. Be ready to hustle. Get health insurance. Join networking groups. Hey, you're here right now. You've already joined a networking group. Get a business coach. Working for a consulting firm prior was critical. I came into the independent consultant land as an experienced evaluator, knowledge and experience of what it meant to be a consultant. You had to learn the business side, but again, we talked about this earlier. Your evaluation tools were already sharpened. Be intentional on the types of projects you want to take on. Know all the business requirements, taxes, state requirements, insurance, maybe you have local county government things that you need to adhere to. Be really aware of those things. Don't get in trouble. Find your niche. Hey, there's a chat for that. Matt did a great presentation on this earlier, but really be clear on the types of services that you're providing and what sets you apart from other people. This is good advice for most people. I am actually more of a generalist. So again, a lot of my work is public health, research and evaluation consulting. I also have clients where I do website design. I also have clients where I do grant writing. I also have clients where I do copy editing for reports, right? So you can really decide how many services you want to take on, but your niche can be really important. Advice from the pros. Be ready to bring on subcontractors well before you need them. This person said this was advice I got from my accountant. The second time I became a consultant, he was right. I didn't listen well. Should have started on day one. Get your contracts in place. Get your templates in place. Get your network in place. Know who you can count on if you need emergency or long-term support with your projects. Someone said this advice. Have active participation in the independent consultant topical instant group or topical interest group. Smiley face. What great advice. And you're all doing it right now. Have a good support team, your lawyer, your accountant, especially in place. They've seen it all. There is no need for you to become an expert in these things. Experts out there exist. You are asking people to hire you as an expert evaluation consultant. You can do the same. Hire these expert tax and law people to help you run your business successfully. Don't get in trouble with the IRS. Okay. How do I get started? This was kind of a question that we got frequently. So instead of answering this, I am just aggregating a lot of the advice that the pros gave. So it's not about what you know, at least not at first. It's about who you know. You've been working in evaluation. You have your colleagues and your previous people already in line, right? Lean on the institutions that have already shaped you, your internships, your schools, your favorite nonprofit, your alma mater, the people you've worked with, your previous supervisors. Tell all your mentors and your colleagues that you are starting something new. Have them review your pitch and outreach materials. Buy them a coffee or a beer when you do this. Let people know what you're doing, right? Meet with people. When I started my business, I met with every single person I could. I went to like 20 breakfasts that first month, right? Can I take you out to breakfast? Can I pick your brain? A lot of the people who were outside of my industry but just had small consulting firms, I said, tell me everything you think is important to know about running a business. A lot of tax advice in those meetings. You will get more marketing benefit by spending more time on perfecting your evaluation skills rather than or networking on LinkedIn or Twitter. Excuse me, you mean X? Your next client is likely to come from your current network of clients. Again, we emphasize this throughout the presentation. Take care of your current clients. Do excellent work for them. Referrals are easier than an RFP. Talk to as many people you can about how they structure and set up their systems, learn from their mistakes and lesson learn, buy them a beer or coffee. Register a URL and get a quote work email as soon as possible. You can build out your brand and web presence later, but your email is your face. It shouldn't be Gmail or yahoo.com. Friends, those of you who have a Yahoo or a gmail.com email right now for your consulting business, it's okay. But this is true. When somebody sees that your end address is Gmail or Yahoo or Hotmail, they're going to have a little bit of judgment on you, right? Automatically, a bias is going to creep in. We want to eliminate that bias. We're all dealing with enough biases all the time, right? So eliminate that unconscious bias. Show them that you are professional. I am a full-time independent consultant. I have invested money into my business. Don't worry too much about your website. I have a lot of people talking about like, I don't know what to put on my website. I haven't really developed my core values yet. That's okay. My website, I have no core values on there. That is a place where clients can see I am legit. I have a company. It's almost like an extended CV. I list every report I've published. I list all the clients I have. I have a corporate resume. People see I'm legit. They can see the type of work I've produced. We link to that, right? Get a business email. It is just as important to know what you don't want to work with as who you do want to work with. Don't work with bad people. You're an independent consultant. Your boss is not telling you have to work with this crappy client anymore. Cut them loose. If your gut says a client is problematic, disrespectful, doesn't respect your boundaries, listen to your gut, get out. End the contract. Don't work with them again. Do not let the great be the enemy of the good enough. Gretchen Rubin says, don't worry about getting it started. Don't worry about making it perfect. You want to worry about getting it started, right? Just start. Just get your website up, get that email going, start talking to people about your business. Your business will change. It will evolve, right? Don't worry about getting it perfect. Worry about getting it started. Number one piece of advice for the independent consultant: do excellent work. This is going to get you the repeat clients. It does not matter if you have the most beautiful website, if you are crushing it on the marketing, if you figured out this Google CEO or SEO thing and you're getting all these, if you do crappy work, people are not going to want to work with you. You're going to get a reputation among other independent consultants. Don't work with them. They're always late. They have a bunch of typos. Their formatting's all crazy, right? Do excellent work. This is the best way to be a successful independent consultant. Okay, this was your rapid fire presentation. My name is Becky Garrow. I would love to connect with you afterwards. Thanks so much.
All right, with that, I'm just going to stop right there.